welcome to Advance after lunch. Whole new thing, right? It's a whole new thing, right? We opened our eyes, we're nourished, we're good. Welcome to 2023, right? Who's happy for that? 2022 is over, it's done, right? We're good about that. Monday, welcome to Monday, right? Happy for Monday, right? We got to be happy for something, right? So a lot of the things that I'm going to talk to you about today is sharing my journey and why I'm qualified enough to sit here as I hone my skills, because I've asked Ashley, I'd like to get up and do a little bit more speaking. So that's how this actually started. So I asked her as a friend, I said, you know what, you do conferences and I want to hone my craft. So I'm going to hone my craft with you, because that's what women do, right? We're looking for people that have similar qualities, similar interests, similar ways of how we're going to develop ourselves as we move through our journey in life. So why am I qualified to be here? Well, I think I'm a badass, that's why, right? And I think all of us should think of ourselves in the same manner, right? Because it's really hard to get up every day to kind of face the world, face 2023, face your Monday, face your after lunch in a room of like individuals who you're looking at them with the same eyes to their eyes and saying, what are you struggling with today? Where are you going? What do you want to be and what do you want to do? Right? So I'm going to share with you how I've done that and where I find my purpose, right? Where I find my passion, and then where I seek my profit, right? Because all three of those things have to equate and balance, right? It's the same thing that I do in my job. I look for rates, dates, and space, right? That's what I do. That's my job, right? I need to find the space for my event, make sure that there's the availability, right? That's going to be there. And then the rate, right? Is this valuable to you that I'm selling? And therefore, that's how we kind of create that nice balance in my industry. So as I think about my personal journey, I think about what are those same 3 Ps, right? There's that purpose, that passion, and where's the profit? Profit becomes your value of how you see what you deliver, okay? And we're going to talk a little bit about that in a little bit. So how did I get here? I've worked for less than $1. What kind of value is that, right? I worked overseas where dollars didn't matter. It was pesos, right? Maybe it was even the barter system where there was no dollar, right? And we both understood there's value for what I do and you have value. So there's different ways to see all of those different things in your own design and the way you design your destiny. I also chose not to be an entrepreneur. I'm not good at being an entrepreneur. Why would you say, well, why not? I don't like the accounting side. I don't like the administration. I don't want to schedule myself, right? Yeah, I can sell, but I can't sell myself. But I do it every day. But I don't do it in my own organization, right? I'm a brand bitch. I love the brand. I love to create all kinds of logos and make it look real pretty and, put up the step and repeats and do all of that. All of those things are really great as well, but how can I support that? Is mine large enough for my personality, right? How is my brand and what does it look like? And I'm sure it can be, but I'm not good at the admin. I'm not good at the accounting. I'm not good at the booking. I'm not good at the software, right? So I chose to be inside of an organization. But at the same time, my purpose was to drive what I was good at, drive the value of what I can offer to an organization, critical thinking, decision making. I'm not very risk adverse, right? And so I can take that inside of the organization and be an entrepreneur, understand where my leaders see their mission, learn about their objectives, and laser focus into exactly what I need to deliver to them, okay? And that's where I see the purpose, right? And then what am I passionate about? I'm passionate about events. I'm passionate about making sure people get up and have the right environment to make sure that they shine, okay? And so that's where I find my 3 Ps, okay? And then how is it that you can do that for yourself? Is really kind of go back into your learnings when you're young. I was always putting on tea parties. I didn't even realize, right? I had the cutouts, and then someone told me, you just, like all the action and you just never slow down. You're a hamster on a wheel, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, I need to be in the casino industry. Yeah, I like that ching, 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 ching all the time, right? I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do, right? And so you all of a sudden start to design who you are, and then how do you fit into that pyramid, that triangle of what, where, and what can you do that drives your profitability, right? And so, oh yeah, I like to do that. I like to host parties. I like the fast pace, but how can I make money, right? And so all of a sudden you start to drive yourself into that environment. And sometimes you don't even know you're driving yourself into that environment. You just eventually evolve, right? And people see you because you connect and you network. And then maybe you get recognized as well. Who doesn't like to be recognized, right? I think we all like to be recognized. And so when you get recognized for certain skills that you have, right? And all of those skills, you're like, oh, that got recognized for those skills. Well, how can I hone those skills better? What can I do to improve myself, right? To then become more profitable, okay? And so all of those same things in the paradigm of your 3 Ps, your passion, your purpose, and your profit, it becomes very much intuitive, right? It's in your soul, it's in your body, right? And you design your own destiny. And one of the things that I've always said, if it's going to be, it's up to me. Nobody else. I was born. I have great parents. I have great network of friends. I have people who love me. But at the end of the day, they're not going to do it for me. I have to do it for myself. And so when you bring all of those things back and you kind of sit yourself down, you're like, okay, well, what direction am I going in? And then how do I get there? And that's where you set yourself on your plan. I'm going to talk a little bit about leaders. I consider myself a leader, and I get a call, I think it was 3 weeks ago, and someone asked me, I'm up for this job, but I have to go and interview with this white guy, and he's old, and he's exactly like my last boss. I'm like, ooh, I don't think you're going to get that job if you go and do it like that. She had unconscious bias, right? She's using her unconscious bias to say she cannot move forward or see the value of what this new opportunity might bring her, right? And we do that a lot, right? It's like, I'm not going to come to this conference. There's not enough people. Are you kidding me? This is the best audience you can have, right? It's nurturing. It's empowering. It's real. It's transparent, right? So how can you learn if you're not putting yourself in a group like that, right? So I talked to Kelly, who we sat there, and I said, are you telling me you don't even want to have the interview? Because you might as well just stop. Like, don't even bother. You don't want the job. You've already said you don't want the job, but you're really asking me for advice how I'm going to get the job. Stop yourself right there. Take down your unconscious bias and say, well, why do you want that job anyway? Why are you trying for it? How does it fit within your 3 Ps? Eventually she says, I didn't realize I used that. I go, well, you probably use that in a lot of interviews, right? Because a lot of times when we're going into interviews, we're like, okay, I got to put on my best face. I got to know all of these things. I've got to talk about my accomplishments, which we're not very good at. And then all of a sudden, well, they're not going to like me because of this. And that guy will never understand, or that girl will never understand, or she really doesn't want me to have this job. And so all of those things play into your mental state. And when they're in your mental state, guess what happens? You begin to block, right? And you can't move forward. But as I go back, if it's up to me, it's going to be. Okay? And that's where that bus stops. That bus stops and saying, I got to figure out why I'm not getting what I want. I got to figure out why I'm not doing what I need to be doing. Okay? And so those are the things where you start to come back, and I would say use that passion, purpose, and profit kind of analogy to help you understand where exactly you want to go, how it is that you're going to get there, and why are you going there. Okay? So we know that the profit side, whether that's going to be money, whether that's going to be something that fills your heart, that fills up your cup, whether you're going to do that only for yourself, or you're going to do that for others, you're going to do it for an organization, you're going to do it for your family. There's a lot of reasons why you're going to do something. And profit doesn't necessarily mean money, okay? It's going to enrich you in some way, but not necessarily always with a dollar, okay? It could bring you a better network so that later you can find equity in some other endeavor that you're in. It may connect you in a new idea to get creative about something you never ever thought about or you were never even close to, to be able to mix maybe finding that passion that you have, okay? So you're going to drive back to why did all of a sudden I meet these wonderful people today? And you have to kind of really kind of go back and understand why that actually happens. Because we're connected always in some way, shape, or form, okay? So back to your leader. So unconscious bias. I don't like my leader very much. I love my leader, okay? Because they teach me things, right? It's not easy to work for the leader that I have because they're very much different than how I would do things. But I'm not the leader in this organization, okay? So how do you learn to work with that, right? How do you learn to find the ways that you can find your purpose still in a very uncomfortable scenario, okay? It's how you design why you're there, okay? And most of the time when it's not your own business, there's always somebody in your way telling you you're not supposed to do it that way, right? If it's your business, you can decide how you want to do it, when you want to do it, when you get up, when you set an appointment, all of those things. For me, I don't have that luxury, right? I had 3 appointments before I got here. I'm going to zip in here, do this, and I got 3 appointments when I get back, right? Because I'm on somebody else's time. But that doesn't mean I don't have the individuality and I can't define my own purpose. I just need to fit it into that fast-paced world, right? But none of that changes the value that I bring to any one of those opportunities, right? And so, yeah, if I had my own business and, I chose to go it on my own, and I wouldn't be as disciplined as I was, as I am today, right? Because I don't have that discipline. I'd be going out to DSW and shopping for shoes, right? That's what I'd be doing every day, right? And then I'd worry about my profit, right? About why I don't have any money in my bank because I'm at DSW from 10 to 2, right? So there's a discipline there, right? And then in the organization, for some people, that's what is required. That's what they like. That's the structure. There's nothing wrong with that. Those that can do it on their own and develop that structure, I probably believe they have another manager somewhere in their life, right? That's telling them, no. You gotta work today, right? Maybe that's your kids, your husband, or somebody who's coaching you around your business. So in the leadership piece, you have to find where exactly you learn and how you learn, and then how you can adapt, right? Because even if you're in an entrepreneurial world, you just can't say, I'm not doing business with that person, I don't like them, right? Because you're going to lose a sale. You're going to lose an opportunity, right? And so you really have to kind of understand, what's the objective here? How can I make this objective work for me? And what is it going to take to get that done? Now, there's going to be some times where I say, I'm going to say, no, I don't feel like doing that, and I'll just procrastinate, make myself miserable until I actually have to get it done. Because, I'm a silent quitter, right? And the silent quitter is like, I want that balance today, right? And so that balance is, I've got all these things I'm supposed to do today because that's my job, it's on my job description, but today I don't feel like doing it, right? That's a silent quitter. And we have a lot of those in 2023. That is not the resignation, because those are people who had courage and left. These are the people that are looking for balance and decide they don't want to do as much work. And they're just going to silently avoid doing some of the tasks that are required of today's work. So you're going to see that in today's world of the silent quitting phenomena, and you're going to hear it as buzzwords moving forward. And we're trying to manage that internally, because we are moving at such a fast pace, and we have a lot of expectations for people in the corporate world. But is it realistic? Especially with everything that we've gone through. I would truly believe that there's a little amnesia going on of what we actually went through for the last 3 to 4 years. And fast pace, and oh my God, now you're going to put me in a box and I can't get out and I can't see anybody, and now all of a sudden keep going fast, go fast now, right? There's a lot of amnesia in the way that today's work is being performed, and the reason why you have the silent quitting or the great resignation, okay? So a lot of what you're seeing in today's world has a lot to do with the corporate cultures that are being in today's world. We're adapting, leadership is adapting, work at home is adapting, flex work, hybrid, or no, I need to see you so I know that you can work, right? And how many people have been in that kind of environment, and the reason why a lot of people aren't in that environment. It's either value me for the work that I can accomplish because you can't see me, or you like my work. And then there's sometimes it's just, I feel comfortable knowing that you're there, right? And so when I go back to my leader and that we have very different styles of leadership, very different styles of work, this person can get through work like I've never seen anybody. But I also have to choose that I have balance, and I want balance. If not, I will silently quit, okay? And it is happening. That doesn't mean I underestimate or I undervalue where I'm at in my triangle, because I love my purpose. I have a passion for what I do. I asked for a raise because you're asking me to do a lot more than what I was expected to do. I earned it, I got it. But I still feel there's an imbalance, right? And so, well, I'll show you, we say, right? And you do that in that corporate until all of a sudden they kick you to the can, right? And then you start up your own business and say, well, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it, right? So I think we all have to understand in a lot of ways of how you design your own destiny and how you can get what you want, living in the confines of an organizational structure that may not always be exactly what you want. There's some compromise. But there's some compromise only if you would accept what you're compromising, right? So I have the passion, I'm doing what I want in an industry that I love. I have a leader that I'm learning from every day, sometimes more than I need to, right? And I'm passionate, right? There's a purpose and there's a passion for everything that I do, and the way that I manage the organization is something that they've never seen before, right? And they haven't seen the growth, they haven't seen the entrepreneurial spirit, they haven't seen the initiatives that are possible because they're always stuck in a box. I don't live in a box, right? And I'm okay, fire me today. I walk into work and saying, I don't care if I get fired. And that's liberating when you work in an environment where you're not tied to that profit of the dollar, you're tied to the profit of your value. If I'm not providing you the quality of the output that I do today, you have an option. It's okay. And if you feel that, you shouldn't ever go into a job or think that you cannot get another job because it's not on a paycheck. Okay? It's about the value you offer and the output that you deliver for an organization, whether that's your own business or it's an organization. And so as women or men, whoever, should walk into a job and earn it, not need it, okay? And know that they're getting that job for the same P's that they started out. Something I want to do, something that I can do, and it drives my purpose. It fills my cup. And at the end of it, you're not only getting a paycheck. You're getting it as your purpose. You're getting it as your profit because it fills your cup. It makes you happy. You drive new initiatives, and therefore that's where you should be in an organization that doesn't. And if you're in an organization that doesn't allow you to do that, get out quick. Don't silently quit. Quit, right? Go, run, and find another one. And there's lots out there. So where I am in my organization, Hard Rock, 285 cafes, 39 hotels, right? Lots of things, Vegas, all global. My piece to that is what do I bring, right? They can do it all on their own, and if it's not me, it's going to be somebody else. And always remember that too, as you're designing your destiny. You're only one person in a bigger organization, and quite frankly, in an entrepreneur world, you're one person doing one kind of service or offering one product in a large ecosystem of entrepreneurs as well. So you do sit inside an organizational culture and know that. So it's not to say it's this or that. It's to say make sure you understand what your 3 Ps are, more importantly than that. That's all I got. So I'm going to take some Q&As. If you want to hear or learn anything about myself or Hard Rock, I'm happy to share. Sure.
Wait, just a sec. We've got
Oh. The 3 Ps, her question was, what are the 3 Ps?
Yes, what are
Purpose,
the 3 Ps?
passion, and profit. Anyone else? Oh boy, Gus, I can tell him he's going in it. Usually when there's a question from Gus, we all know something's going to happen.
A few questions. How long have you been with Hard Rock?
I've been with Hard Rock for 4 years. I started as a VP of sales in Atlantic City, and I transitioned to the global role 2 years ago.
Okay. What's the next big thing for Hard Rock?
Mirage. We just bought the Mirage in Las Vegas. Yeah. It will be, so the Guitar Hotel that you see here in Fort Lauderdale, we will replicate that beside Caesar's Palace on the Strip. It will be 4,000 rooms. The Guitar will be an all-suite property. So we're not sure exactly what that timeline of transition will be. Currently, we're operating it as the Mirage. It was an MGM product. And probably by 25, 26, you'll see Hard Rock in Las Vegas. Yeah, very exciting projects. Barcelona, Athens, and 8 in Brazil. So lots of new expansions. So. Yes.
How did COVID affect you personally in the hospitality industry?
Oh, that's a great question. So I got to work like an onion. They peeled back everybody, and I got to do the heart of the business. So I had 13 sales reps, and I was in Atlantic City at that time. It was an interesting piece, and I'll tell you a little why. Atlantic City is very much rooted in the hospitality. It was obviously, for those who have been to Atlantic City, it was a very hospitality-oriented destination. March 16th, 40,000 people are out of a job. It's the first time in history that they've closed casinos. We had to wash money. I washed chips in a laundromat. We had to take the ATMs and get rid of all of the money. We had probably about $6 million in ATM cash that we had to disperse of. Brinks trucks coming in, 40,000 people in the city under work, really a lot of uncertainty. I was lucky I was living in Daytona Beach. I hightailed it out of the city and went south, right? It's March, why wouldn't you? They eventually furloughed my team and furloughed, because we could work from home in the hospitality in my particular field. We didn't go back to work until we opened for July 4th holiday in Atlantic City. And most of the northeastern markets would. The business was great. Everybody got free money and they wanted to make more of it. So it was great. Over the course of that time, we started to rebuild. And in my industry, in my side of the business, I booked more business during COVID than I did before. So it's the mindset of how do you book business in an environment where you're not supposed to book business. I said, why not? Everybody has to continue. We know this too shall pass, right? And we live in an industry where you're 24, 48 months out when you're booking business. Then there's some short term. There was a lot of regulations. We needed to make people feel comfortable of, their policies, their clauses, their attrition, their cancellation clauses. And so we managed the business with relationships, right? It was like, what are you afraid of? And if you're afraid of it now, you're going to be afraid of it then, but doesn't mean you can't sign today, right? So yeah, we actually sold more business during COVID than after, and now they're doing well. And here in all the casino properties for Hard Rock did very, very well, very well. They surpassed all of their 2019 numbers during COVID, and they're continuing to have double-digit increases. Yeah. We got lucky. Not a lot of them fared the same way. Everybody's back plus more. You want some?
Yeah. Yes. Here. Thank you so much for the beautiful speech. I have a comment and a question, if I may. The first comment is, in the past 10 years, I've been helping people find their purpose. And when I see you talking about purpose, and also you say you can monetize in a career, it doesn't have to be a business. If you don't mind, I would love to put you as an example when I teach purpose.
Love to, yeah.
So that's.
I knew that I'd get a start somewhere.
Absolutely. So it's because it's beautiful. Like some people think, oh, I found my purpose, I have to quit my job. No, it doesn't have to be. Just finding out the right vehicle. My question to you is, and this is something I love to ask people who, when I see them literally, authentically living their purpose, is when was that moment you said, that's my purpose, enough from whatever was before, and let me go ahead and live it? When was that specific moment? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, and appreciate it, and much gratitude to you. When I led a team that was successful, and then I knew that I could drive back, and someone came to me and said, you're not a boss, you're a leader. To me, I realized that I had something that could transform what we were doing and how we did it. I was always very involved in the business, in a coaching way for our salespeople. But it was also when you're sitting with clients and you say, why can't we do this? There's never a no. It's just a how, right? And one of my mentors actually told me, it's not that we can't do anything, we can do everything. It's just how. Any other?
So Shelley put on during the middle of COVID, Shelley snuck a bunch of her favorite clients into the casino when we were not allowed to meet or be there and not allowed. I saw my first live music post-COVID at the Hard Rock. We were in a room about this large, and I think there were 6 tables, and we were all eating in couples. But anyway, Shelley, my question is, first of all, Shelley never seems like she's working, and she's got thousands of fans around the world, and we met with her lately. Shelley, what does your organization personally look like today?
Lean. Very lean. So on the outside, when you think about the Hard Rock, 285 cafes globally. The Seminole Tribe owns us, which a lot of people don't recognize. We're a tribally owned, non-public company. We have a headquarters here in Hollywood, Florida, with about 400 people inside. We have 39 hotels, and we opened 5 hotels during COVID. The critical path of opening a hotel, we have 22 people in hotel development, myself included, which means everybody runs very quickly. We run very fast. We're very collaborative. But at the end of the day, you just got to make decisions, right? So you're a very decision-oriented based company. We make mistakes all the time. But our organization is so lean. People from the outside would think, oh, you got all these people. I'm like, yeah, it's me. I got to do it. Thanks. And sometimes what happens in that organization is you can't move as fast as you want. And our vendors get very frustrated with us because we're regulated. I don't have the people to move contracts, and my legal takes, 6 weeks to review something. But I want to move on this initiative quickly, right? And so sometimes that gets very frustrating because I just want to move that needle because I'm that kind of person who wants to move it quicker, faster, and be nimble. And I think about the perception of Hard Rock. We should be a fast-moving organization. We should always say yes. Give me the set list. Turn on the lights, right? We should be able to do that. And unfortunately, currently today, we struggle. We do struggle. It's frustrating. It's frustrating for people that are very much wanting to move that needle forward. Unfortunately, they can't because they don't have the resources to be able to do that as fast as we want. So, I spent 17 days on the road in December. I'll spend another 15 days on the road in January, another 10 in February, and you continue to do that. And then you say, okay, where's my balance? Right? And that's when you silently quit, right? I'm not going, and then you say, well, how's it going to get done? I don't know. Is there anybody here that can do it? And that's when we have to realize that we have to staff up and properly resource. And I think it's not about money. It's about candidates and competency. And we're in a competent culture, and we're looking for that culture creation. And so a lot of times what we find when we're sitting in a room is we're looking at each other with, we can see the white, like, please don't give me another project. Or don't raise your hand and have a comment or an opinion. Because a lot of times what happens is you get assigned, right? And that's when you're like, oh God, another project, right? So, yeah, all about you. But it's a good question.
Thank you. This event was supposed to be at the Hard Rock. As far as hotel catering and event places go, and Shelley's a part of this, our favorite venue to work with, and I'm not saying that because Shelley's a friend and Shelley's here, is Hard Rock. They get it right, and they know how to do it. We have not, you guys have been so busy, we've not been able to book a Hard Rock property since COVID. So,
But we're busy too. So.
Yeah, that's what you guys are busy. We haven't been able to do it because they've been sold out.
Yeah, we run a high occupancy with our meeting space here in Florida. Obviously, we're the only game in town from a casino perspective. We're also very Seminole tribal environment owned. So there's a lot of different events that conflict with a lot of different events. Globally, we're very busy as well. And truly, it's because people want to meet. And Hard Rock gives you an environment that it's not stuffy. It's not, if there's Hilton in the room, I apologize. It's not just 4 walls. We have a whole brand story that we talk about, what our roots are, what our mottos are. And we really try and treat people like rock stars. Anytime we'll bring up the lights, and we want to make sure that whatever it is that you need to do for your audience, that we're also there for you. So we truly believe and live our brand. And when I was with Caesars, it truly was, we're just casinos, we have space, and yeah, you can use all of the nice glitzy things behind the walls and the chandeliers. When I moved over to Hard Rock, we truly embraced what we do for our clients. And that's really what my move over to the Hard Rock brand was, is really finding that purpose of not just selling an event, but actually being involved in the event from the audience perspective. And so we say, we turn the lights on, and your audience is there. Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you so much, Liz. I know. I
Yes,
know.
for our virtual
Thank
guests.
you. That's right. I'm sorry. Just a quick question. I know you were talking about, the taking care of the clients and people coming to the hotel. I work with a lot of companies, a lot of corporate doing financial workshops, and I admire these companies and what they do to take care of their employees. What are you guys doing as far as, if that's your department as well, to take care of these employees?
Yeah, well, it's not my department to take care of the employees,
Yeah,
but I will
to
tell you
oversee.
I am one of those employees, and they take care of me quite nicely. We have some really interesting culture creation in the back of the house. We have a thing called Voices United, which we really stand up our platforms on making sure that they are part of the culture that we have. We have our mottos as well as take time to be kind is one of our very strong mottos, save the planet as well. And so a lot of the things that we do internally really drives that culture for us and creates that, whether it's you're touching the guest or you're behind the scenes not touching the guest, you're very much involved in the culture of the Hard Rock. So, you're on stage when you're in the back of the house. We do make that separation between home and work by a sound check. We call it a sound check for them, so that they're fully enveloped and developed within the moment that they arrive to work. So we know that everything that happens in your life, and then when you come to work, you have to kind of put on your uniform, you become that rock star, and we allow them to come out on stage. And so we really do staging when they come in to work every day. And that's actually done in a sound check, it's called, and every department actually does that. We do a lot of internal communications. We do a lot of team meetups and things like that. Here in Florida, we just increased the wage of our lowest employees as well by 60%. So you're actually, their guest room attendants make $19 an hour.
It's amazing.
Because we realize that, they are super important to us, right? And so we led the way in looking at equity and equality to those people that do the hardest jobs. When we look at our guest surveys and we think about our employee surveys and our guest surveys, the highest satisfaction comes from the heart of the house. And the heart of the house are the hardest jobs. They're the doormen, the housekeeping, busboys, things of that nature. But our our employee satisfaction is the highest in those areas. Leadership has a lot to do with it as well. Tenure and leadership in those areas really plays a big part. Native language, so we've got 4 languages that they speak back of the house, and we'll represent that and make sure that they're communicated in to where they feel comfortable as well. So all of those things play a little bit of a piece to their employee journey. We have great retention, not only because they're getting paid well, but because they really truly love coming to work, and that shows in our service.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Anything else about Hard Rock? Bruce Springsteen's coming. Janet Jackson, yeah. Yeah, a lot of new acts are coming to the Hard Rock here. So if you ever have a chance to take in one of the shows, they're great. If you ever have any comments about our employees, I'd love to make sure I share that with them internally as well. They truly, really love to get those responses. I see them all the time, so it's great. Thank you so much. I hope that this was informative. I look forward to it. If you need my contact information, Gus and Ashley have it. All right? Thank you.